So let's talk about flash fiction and short stories. So these two art forms are types of literature that offer a unique challenge to writers. Being shorter does not mean easier. So while the two genres are similar, they also have a few key differences. So flash fiction often relies on quick, intense bursts of dialogue, imagery, and character development. These stories often lack the complexity of a traditional novel certainly would, and focus on a single event or moment. Short stories, on the other hand, do share some of those characteristics, but they have a bit more room for more complex plots and those even a character arc. And they also allow for more in-depth exploration of the themes and the ideas presented in the story. Now, of course, the beauty of this type of literature lies in its brevity, its key feature. So authors must choose their words carefully. They have to use concise language and couple that with vivid imagery to convey whatever the central theme of the piece may be without veering off into tangents or losing focus on what needs to be said. And this can be challenging, especially for newer writers, but it's incredibly rewarding when done correctly. And it really helps a writer begin to uh, home in on what it is they are trying to accomplish. And if they can get good at telling that short story, that flash fiction, they can then translate that into when they write longer pieces like novels, and make those longer works even better. Flash fiction and short stories are an invaluable tool for writers to develop those skills. If you can master the art of succinctly conveying complex ideas in creative ways, that will allow you to take on these tasks that require discipline because every word has to count toward creating that meaningful story. You don't have words to waste. Every word, imagine every word costs $1. You can use as few of them as possible. And the feedback loop created by those shorter pieces provides great insight in a shorter period of time, because you can put them out maybe more quickly and readers can consume them more quickly and give you quicker feedback. And yet you haven't put in weeks, months, a year into writing this longer piece either. So this can encourage the writer to take more risks and try crazy things and see if they work, see if they don't. And it makes it possible for writers to create meaningful works that express deep messages while at the same time using fewer words than written if they were written any other way. So just some tips for writing flash fiction and short stories. 1. Create dynamic characters. When crafting characters for your flash fiction or short story, make sure they have layers of complexity and depth. Think about the motivations and give them distinct traits that'll make them stand out. 2. Establish a clear plot. A strong plot is essential for any successful piece of writing. Use symbols and metaphors. Powerful tools add depth to the story without having to resort to overly long descriptions. Take time to edit and revise. That's going to be essential to paring that down to get to the point of the story with the allotted words. So hopefully by following these tips, you can craft dynamic pieces of literature that will leave writers wanting more. And in addition to honing the craft of brevity in storytelling, writers can also take their time to reflect on what makes their own voice unique. And that in turn will help their stories stand out amidst, a sea of others who are vying for that same attention.